the checklist. Okay, the strategies don't have to be connected to each other or to the unit. Include some mobile apps. Okay, definitely include some mobile apps in it, because mobile is something that's becoming more and more common in schools. With bring your own device and the use of tablets and smartphones, mobile technologies are becoming much more ubiquitous, and we need to make sure that we have activities that utilize those. So take a look at Appalicious, and also, and I should add this to the web page, also that Apitic, okay, because Apitic was the one that gives you apps that go with certain multiple intelligences. In fact, I'm going to show that to you right now. I was just showing that to my 513 class, and some of them went, oh, that would have been so great if we had this for 522. So you guys are in luck. Let's see. I'm going to go to, here we go, websites, apps, and tools. Okay, if you go on our web page to websites, apps, and tools, and then scroll down, you will see right here, apps for iPads and other tablets. Apitic. And actually, I'm going to give you guys some time to explore this. Actually, you need to remind me, because I am going back and forth between the two classes. Did we spend a lot of time exploring this site? I know I did with 513.
We did spend a lot of time on this last week.
Yes? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I won't again. But so there, you've got your multiple intelligences and apps to go with them, and the little numbers after them indicate how many apps are in them. So remember this as a resource for when you're coming up with your activities. Okay, and let's see. Also notice that it's not just multiple intelligences. You've got them here, your themes, and if you go right here, apps by subject area, this is going to be great for developing your lesson and your unit. And if you go to special ed, for those of you who are working with students in special education, and Blooms, if you go to Blooms, that's going to help you find apps that are related to specific levels of depth of knowledge. Yeah, Diane, we're lucky that we have this, because yeah, the 513 people hadn't seen it before, and they were like sad that they had 522 without this. So there's lots of great things in here. So remember Appalicious and Apitic when you're coming up with activities. And let's see, back to the checklist. Okay, so you're going to use technology whenever possible. In your grid, all of them have to include technology. Remember that each, right down here, each of the 3 elements have to be identified in each cell. So green for depth of knowledge, purple for Gardner multiple intelligence words, and red for your technology. So every single grid cell is going to include all of these. In your lesson plan that you're going to develop for Project 2, which we're going to look at today, and for your unit plan, use technology always when possible. If you're going to have students make a poster, make it electronic, like Glogster. If you're going to have them write a story, have them do it on the computers or in a notepad app in the iPad. Everything should be technology whenever and whenever possible, even if it's not realistic for you in your school. This is going to be making you really stretch and explore technologies and in ways that weren't expected in the other classes, in just the teacher prep classes. So even if it doesn't seem very relevant, focus on technology. Remember, the three focuses of this class are standards, cognition, and technology. Those are the three focuses. So, as I said before, you don't need to have 32 completely different technologies. What a silly thing, 32 different technologies in 48 cells. No, 32 in 32 cells. This is wrong because we were using Bloom's before and I changed one and not the other. So, you don't need 32 completely different technologies. Very similar activities may be presented several times, but change the language so that it fits a specific multiple intelligence. So, and I know that I went over this before, but just to review, this is an example. Say you had an activity that was involving vocabulary words. These are 5 different cells that you could fill it in with. Students will independently use the flashcard app on the iPad to study the vocabulary words. I would highlight flashcard app red, because that's your technology. I would highlight independently purple, because that's intrapersonal, the MI word. And I would highlight study green, because that's your depth of knowledge. You're just studying and memorizing. Okay, so here's 5 different examples of basically the same activity, but addressing 5 different multiple intelligences. Okay, no questions so far? Type it in there if you have a question about anything that I say. Make sure that when you have a website that you are referring to, provide the entire URL. And in fact, if you are using an app, if you mention an app, I would like you to give the URL to the app as well. So let's say that we're going to use a flashcard app. Okay? So I'm going to go to Appalicious. I'm going to search for flashcard apps. Okay, here's a free flashcard app, or here, how about this one? Flashcards Deluxe Lite. Click there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pretend that I'm going to get it right now. Okay. And there's my entire URL. So I would copy that and paste it right into the grid. And yeah, it's going to push it out all weird, but that's okay. Especially for your lesson plan and your unit plan, every resource that you provide, you, years from now, or a substitute teacher or other teachers that you're sharing it with, they should be able to get to the resource immediately by just clicking on your link. Whoever's using your lesson plan or your unit plan should not have to dig for anything. It's a standalone project. Okay. And in regard to your verbal linguistic students, even though we know that writing and reading are verbal linguistic activities as well, and I'm not saying you can't use them, you can, but please make sure that you also provide activities in which there's talking involved, because that's the one thing we don't let students do too much. Just historically, we've had plenty of opportunities for kids to read and write, but often not to talk. And when we're talking about talking, it doesn't have to be to other people. It could be reciting something into a recorder. It could be talking in front of a mirror. Of course, that's not technology, but it could be reciting into a recorder. It could be using Voki. Type that, Voki, or another, or like, what is it? The Talking Tom and Angela Cat Those are things that students can talk into. And they could be talking something that relates to the content. They don't have to be talking to other people. Verbal linguistic learners just have to talk. And often they talk to themselves just to digest the content that they're learning. Okay, so make sure that you do give them activities in which they're talking. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so how about everybody copy and paste one at a time. Let's copy and paste an activity from your grid into the chat, and let's see if we can figure out where it fits. That will be the game. I wonder if we could Kahoot that. Wait a minute. My wheels are turning. Let's do this. This could be fun. All right. Let's see. Kahoot. Kahoot's only got 4 answers. So I don't like that. No, let's use Socrative. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay, my room, my Socrative room is 346413. Don't go there yet. Let's see. Start a quiz. Create a quiz right now. Let's see. Create a quiz. Okay. Multiple choice. Let's make it short answer. Okay. Which am I and which DOK do you think? Okay. So basically it's the same. See if I can copy this. Yes, I can. Nice. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm in Socrative, and I just put which am I and which DOK do you think? And each one of you will share one of your activities, and so I'm just saving and doing the same thing over. This will be faster and easier than me making a multiple choice quiz. This is right off the top of my head, so hopefully it will go smoothly. Who knows? Okay. And my quiz is, which grid cell does it fit into? There. Okay, start a quiz. This is the one. Let's see. Randomize, no. Okay. Let's start. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so you guys, can you go to Socrative.com and sign in with that room number 346413. You see Brandon? No, you shouldn't have to. It's my account as a teacher, and you should be able to go right to Socrative and then enter the my classroom number. Does it have to be an online thing, or can it be an app already on the computer or iPad? What do you mean, Maggie? Does what have to be an online thing? Keynote and iMovie. Your students? We're just playing with Socrative right now as a quiz, as a like it's audience response, immediate quizzes. No, it should definitely not make you make an account. Maybe you clicked sign in as a teacher. Sign in as a student. But I am showing this to you for a reason. If you haven't used Socrative before, it's wonderful, it's free, it's quick, and your students will love it. And you as a teacher will love it because all the results will go into a spreadsheet that you can save and be able to refer to. So if you're having to create an account, get back out again and then go back into Socrative.com and click to enter as a student. And then you should just be able to put, wait, you guys have started saying things. Did I start? Because what we want is somebody to give us their idea, and then we'll type in where we think it fits. Let me see. Brandon, Maggie, Carrie, Deepshika, Diane, Megan, Nicole, Randall, Stephen. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's 10 of you. Everybody's in. Okay, hold on. You're all in. I'm going to finish the test and restart it. But what I want, like Randall, can you copy and paste one of your grid activities? Just copy and paste right into the chat right now. Nicole, you did not have to make an account, did you? Where's Nicole? No, you were able to get in as a student. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to finish this test. I'm just restarting the test. Go to the dashboard. Okay, start a quiz. Okay. Student, okay, so it's going to be teacher pace. Now I'm in control. All right. How would I disable student feedback? Okay, so we're on number 1, and we're looking at the chat. Critique the lab. Come up with a better one and create a faux thesis. Bettering the human body. Integrate Google Sheets and slides. Okay, Randall, that's fine. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so you guys, what we're going to do is look at that and figure out where it would fit in depth of knowledge. I'm going to bring up the depth of knowledge and the MIs. Hold on. So that we have that to refer to. Let's see. So yeah, I will share my screen so you can see that. Okay. So there's Here's your web's depth of knowledge right there. Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Critiquing is level 3. Yep. So in that, in Socrative, I know that that's blocking you. Hold on. There. Yeah, you can see it. So in Socrative, let's see. So do you have a place that you can type in Socrative? So type in there EDUC522. There you go. Excellent. There we go. Somebody put level 3 logical. And the technology, we don't have to type that. That's your Google Sheets and slides. Okay, so let's see. Randall, you answer 2. But Randall, wait until everybody else answers. This is cool. This is, now that we're rolling here, this is pretty cool. This is kind of what I wanted to happen. So, okay, Randall did share. Randall put verbal linguistic. Okay. All right, so Randall, explain why it's verbal linguistic rather than logical, or do you think maybe it is the logical? If it's verbal linguistic, there should be something in there about them speaking. There is the Google Sheets and slides, but it doesn't really say anything about them writing or talking. What do you think? Can you speak for us? Go ahead and unmute and explain to us what you mean by creating a faux thesis.
So basically just analyzing the experiment and proving on it using...
Wait, can you turn up your mic? I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh, that's better. Thanks. Hello? Yeah, that's better.
So, I wasn't focusing so much on solely on the lab, but using the ideas from the lab and seeing its weak points, and then creating this faux thesis where you're analyzing this experiment. And writing about it, what you would do in practice.
Okay. So in this one, I suggest that what you do is actually use the word write, because the creating the faux thesis could be them sitting in a group discussing it too. So if you, when you say create, I guess make it clearer, you know, what exactly they're doing. Okay? So if you want it to be verbally, Nicole, don't wait until everybody else puts their answer before you answer, because basically you are giving us the answer of what you intended. Nicole? Okay, there we go. Cool. I'm writing down my guess. Let's see. Are you guys able? I'm not sure if you're able to edit your answer. If you are, Diane, go into yours and see if you can add the DOK level. And let me know if it's editable, because I don't know if it is. What I do with my students in the classroom too. There's 9. Yeah. Well, wait. Who are we missing? Randall, Maggie, Carrie, Brandon, Deepshika, Megan R, Diane, Megan Taylor. There's Stephen. Okay. So yeah, go ahead, Nicole. But showing answers and then having people give evidence or explain, rationalize their thinking. It's a great learning activity. Okay, so Nicole, interpersonal, DOK level 2. Okay. Okay, so I know that there can be some confusion. Remember that wait, I'm typing. Inter is group, other people. Okay, intra is independent, solitary. Okay, and so to help you remember that, think of like a chain with interlocking, links. how they interlock, and that'll help you remember that inter is group. Okay, so there's that. I am going to say, and I'm going to say this, but I want to tell you that I'm not saying that I'm right, because some of these things are so subjective and it's the way that you do them. But I actually wrote down interpersonal. I felt confident about that because of them working in groups. But I put level 4 because I felt that the creating a video to explain it was extending their thinking, that they were, let me see, yeah, requiring investigation, complex reasoning, planning, developing, and maybe I just may have been kind of thinking of the video and the creation of it in a different way than you, because I see a lot of people put level 2. But Megan R. and Brandon, they were both thinking of it like me, level 4, which that's a big difference between level 2 and level 4. So I guess it's kind of, oh, okay. I see what you were thinking, Carrie. But when we're constructing, I'm going back to it, construct an explanatory video. To tell you the truth, Carrie, I mean, making the video itself is kinesthetic also. And I could see how you could think of, construct and think of kinesthetic. And I could see how it is a kinesthetic activity, but I think that it definitely, as far as sticking it in a certain cell, that the group work made it strongly interpersonal to me. And yeah, and Carrie's thinking level 4, just like I thought, but I'm certainly not saying that the level 2s or level 3s are wrong. So Nicole, explain your thinking. Why, what? Uh-huh. Right.
Construct. So
Okay.
I was pulling the construct.
Here's the wheel.
There. So the,
Okay.
let me see.
Can everybody see the wheel now? I put it on my screen.
Let me see.
I know it's kind of, there we go.
The same one I'm looking at, because there were, okay, I didn't look at that one. I was looking at the one
Okay.
with the multiple colors. Let me see if I can just attach the link so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Because I have seen a couple different ones, so I'm not sure if maybe what I'm looking at is... They're different. Yeah, some of them are different. I looked at two different...
So, cool. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And then I guess what, to make it more level 4, they might do research beyond what you taught them, you know, and bring it in to the video. And that would make it more extended rather than just what you had gone over. Yeah. Okay.
those categories.
Yeah.
Or any of those.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We've got Randall and Nicole. Okay. Are you seeing everybody's, well, I guess you can see everybody's answers on mine, but probably not on yours. So Maggie, you're going to post your answer, what you put it in, as soon as we got 9 up here. Oh, you already posted. Okay. So this is tricky, because obviously you guys, no, that's okay. I'm pretty sure it would just be inter, because I don't think that you could do a skit all by yourself for this, unless it was a monologue. I mean, if it was intrapersonal, then you could use the word monologue, and that would make it intrapersonal. It's definitely verbal linguistic because they're speaking it. Okay, so Maggie says that she's putting it between level 2 and 3, interpersonal. Okay, so Maggie, if you want to put it in that interpersonal box, then don't just say have the students create a skit, because that implies anything. They could be working in groups or they could be on their own. But if you say that they're working in groups to make a skit, that will make it interpersonal for sure.
So if I were to have like the correct verbiage like you were saying, making it kinesthetic, acting out a skit based on the expression, I could put it in different spots.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So there's other there's also the variance in the depth of knowledge. Again, I don't know. I'm looking at this wheel, and I'm actually questioning myself. Like maybe I am thinking of that creative.
That makes sense because they're taking what they've learned about what life was like, how hard the traveling was and everything, and then using that to make part of their skit. So it does make more sense.
Usually we're going to think of the activities, and I'm going to type this. I'm thinking that there, let me click in here. Activities during the unit, more level 1, 2, 3, final project level 4. That makes sense? That's not a hard and fast rule. That just came into my head, actually. But I think that that's what you're going to want. It makes most sense for them to create something new with that knowledge and be a lot more, higher up in cognitive level at the end of the unit as their final project, whereas the lower levels will be all those activities leading up to that. And yet, I know that the depth of knowledge levels are not linear and that they don't just go 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. They do overlap, and we're not just going from square one to the top. Okay, let's see. How about Brandon? And I will click next. And I'm going to hide the answers this time. I hope you guys are watching, looking at what I can do with Socrative, and that in itself gives you ideas to how you might use it in your class. Notice that I can hide names or show names. I can show the answers or not. So before I was showing them, right now I have hiding the answers, and then I'll show them when everybody's answered, so that way it prevents people from being influenced by others. Oh, am I too loud? I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Maybe I should just stop talking so loud. Okay. I'm stopping sharing for a while so I can control my mic. Okay, so Brandon, okay. Nice use of technology, you guys. Or a table, even though we say creating like a big final project is going to be different than just creating a table or something. You're right. I see how naturalist fits because of that categorization. But I'm thinking that if we want to make it naturalist, we need to use really strong words to put it there. Like words like categorize or sort. But I definitely think that it's very visual spatial as well as mathological. Okay. Like any kind of graph, I'm going to put that. Visual spatial. Graphs, oops, spelling wrong. Graphs, tables, maps, word webs, collage, presentations, all very visual spatial. Anything using photography, but definitely graphs and tables too. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Deepshika. And now we have Megan Taylor as our finalist, unless Delilah gets here. Okay. Students will create a sequential timeline of when species of bats were discovered using Timeline 3D. Gives us the full URL on the iPad. Nice. Wow. That can be so many things. Okay. Okay, 2 more. Okay. Ooh, we've got all the DOK levels except for one. A lot of visual spatial, which is what I put. And Megan Taylor is meaning for it to be DOK3, okay, and logical mathematical. Okay, Megan, is logical mathematical because of time and the linear aspect of that sequence? Is that what you were thinking? Uh-huh. I can see how that's true, but I think that when we use a timeline, it makes that thing very visual. You know what I mean? It takes time, and it takes that whole concept of it and makes it something that your students can see. So I really do think that even though, yes, it's logical mathematical because of time and sequence, that using the timeline maker makes it very visual spatial. And I don't see nobody put naturalistic, although the whole study of species of bats is naturalistic. So, you know, that would be there too, but we're just trying to pinpoint which cell it's in. Okay, very cool. I don't want you to get out right now. Do not leave Socrative. I'm going to finish this. What's our chart look like? That's cool. Look, I'm just showing you what it looks like. There's our chart, what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna go to dashboard, manage quizzes. I'm gonna create a quick quiz. What do you think of Socrative? Okay. What did you think about this activity as an activity, this activity for this session? I'm going to make this, I want to make this so it's completely anonymous. So hold on, what do you think about this activity for this session? What do you think about Socrative as a tool or as an assessment tool? How might you use Socrative in your class? Okay, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to start this. And I want to make this, I'm disabling your names so that it's completely anonymous, so that you can be, there we go, look at that, anonymous. Now you can be completely honest with me, because I want to know, this was right off the top of my head, using Socrative for us to really delve into the grid and the activities, and I want to know what you think. So go ahead. I made it student paced, so we'll just wait until the grid is filled out. So here's what we're going to do. It's 6:20. Let's go ahead and finish filling out this grid. let's take a 15-minute break. So including finishing this grid, or this Socrative thing. So 6:35, I will continue, okay? So please finish this, and hopefully, you know, when I look back at it, it'll all be filled in blue. Okay. I'm a little bit baffled. I'm going to tell you what it was before, and so you guys and I can figure out how this is going to work. So you see that it says, this is your homework form, store name. They all have store name. And so in the first field trip, you're focusing in on technology for pre-K or elementary. And I'm just going to tell you the 3 places that it's always been up until now. A toy store, okay? Here's the 3 places. 1, a toy store. So that's like, you know, KB Toys, Toys R Us, any toy store, okay? The second place was a store where they sell electronics and people can try them out and use them. Okay, so with that, we're talking about Best Buy and CompUSA, Fry's, the Mac store, that. And then the third place is a place where people play games, like Chuck E. Cheese, Dave and Buster's, any arcade place, like that. Those were the 3 places. Now, looking at this new form, I'm thinking that the toy store would be perfect for the first one, right? Technology for pre-K or elementary students. They've got a lot of technologies in the toy stores, like Toys R Us, that, you know, like the leapfrog learning and stuff like that. Technology for young adults. I think definitely the Mac store would be a good place for that. What are your ideas? The gamification in education. I know that I have seen workshops in conferences like Educational Technology Conference for the use of Minecraft, and then there was Classcraft, which I showed you, but I'm not sure of a store that would be that in particular. What are your ideas on where you would go to explore gamification in education? I know there's those places where, I don't know any off the top of my head, specific ones, but like where people play the games together, like Dungeons and Dragons type games. What is that, Megan? What's NetFrags? Okay. Computer-based. So is it different than just an arcade? Okay. That's true, but Diane, I'm not sure how I see that as gamification in education, depending on what they're doing. If they're just using the internet at a Wi-Fi bar, they might be just emailing people or surfing the net. But that NetFrags place, that's games on computer, right? Where is that? You see kids using that in the library. In the library, I think usually the kids are just like researching. I wouldn't say that they're, it's not games. Okay, so Rancho Cucamonga is NetFrags. That sounds like a good, thank you, Megan, perfect. Do any of the, I remember some people in a previous term of this class talking about a place that they went, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was something like this, where people were all together and they were playing games like on computers and stuff. Do any of you, the others of you have, you know, recommendations of places to go that it's like that, where people are together playing like internet-based games? Okay. Don't think it's educational type games. Yeah, we need to delve more into that, the idea of gamification, because you're right. I mean, like when we do like Jeopardy. But yeah, Halo groups. I was thinking, do any of you know people personally, kids or adults or young adults or whatever, that play games like Halo or World of Warcraft or Minecraft? What's an RC club? Oh, yeah. They're building them themselves. If they were just racing them, then I'd say no. But if they're building them themselves, that's like Lego robotics, which is another thing that we could observe. So, but when you're watching them, is there any discussion of the cars themselves or their construction, or is it just racing? I mean, you got to think about whether or not, how you would incorporate that into a classroom environment or teaching in general. We want to think how, if it were possible to bring these tools into a classroom, how might we use them in education? Like simulators. You've probably seen simulators where it feels like, you know, kids are on motorcycles or in spaceships or something. Okay, the tune-ups, yeah. And even with this, I'm still thinking that maybe an arcade place could work also. But I like the idea of the computer-based games. But also what I was going to say was, if you know of people that play online with other people, like World of Warcraft or Minecraft, things like that, you could just sit in their room and talk with them and observe what they're doing. And I like the idea, and I've said this before too, with the prior way that we did this, is to ask questions. So for instance, we're going to stick with, for sure, the toy store for the lower age group. Ask questions. Take notes on what you see kids doing and playing with. Take notes on the multiple intelligences that you feel that they are using when they're playing these games. Yeah. That's fine, Diane, but I want you to talk to them about, like, what, really delve into it in a way that maybe you have never done before, as far as what they're doing, the strategies, how they're communicating with each other, what's the goal, what are they doing? But some people have said, like with the toy stores, or if they're in the, like, Target and they're watching kids play the games, that sometimes they feel creepy because they're watching kids, you know, that they don't know. So I really encourage you to talk to the kids, talk to their parents, and say, you know, why do you like this particular game? Why do you like it better than another one? And maybe even ask them questions about, you know, other things like how they feel that they learn best or things like that. You're tying it all in to multiple intelligences. So looking at these other questions, you're going to write down what you observed watching other people. Now here's the thing too. You must play with them yourself. So Diane, like when you're, yeah, exactly. It's creepy unless you tell people what you're doing. You know, if you say, hey, I'm in a class and we're exploring educational technologies, then people are happy to talk about it. Oh, awesome, Diane. So yeah, you have to play with it. And it's all, if you scroll back up, notice that it's 20 minutes each. 20 minutes of watching people play with the games. 20 minutes watching kids, teens, and adults at the store. What are they investigating? How are they using the equipment? What are they learning? So what are they learning without knowing that they're learning it? Okay? This reminds me of, and I'm going to type this in here, these games like Angry Birds and Cut the Rope. If you've ever seen Cut the Rope, those are two in particular that really teach physics, because the students are not I just scared Diane's kid. Diane, can your kids sign? Can they spell? I just signed. I saw her in there and I went, can you sign? And she ran away. That was fun. Okay. Where did my head go? Let's see. Okay, so what are they learning? You're writing down what they're learning and what multiple intelligences that they might be using without even knowing about it. And then you're going to play with the toys or the equipment yourself, so in the toy store too. And you must spend 20 minutes, no cheating, write down observations about what you learned or discovered in a journal, meaning, you know, whatever, in your iPad, on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. And then, but you're going to use this form too. You're going to upload this form. So notice that the boxes are small, but it should, I gave you rights to edit and you should be able to type in it and make it stretch down. And then think about it. Write down how these toys or pieces of equipment could be used in the classroom to enhance teaching and learning. So even if it's impossible, think about it in those terms. Okay? Set didn't have the grid that the first one had. I'm going to give it to you right now. Okay, so this one has the grid. Let's see. Open the Google Docs. I'm going to share it with you right now and give you the link. Okay, so here is the link. It's not available in directions say to type results in the forum. You're gonna upload this, but you're also gonna, that's part of our sharing in the forum too. So you can just copy and paste. Try that link and see if that works. And then you should be able to get into the grid and yeah, I'm clicking enter and it stretches down. What I observed, discovered, or learned, technology tools I tried, played with, used, and how I think the technology can be used to enhance teaching and or learning. So the thing is that you're going to 3 different places. That's a requirement. You've got to go to 3 different places, and so it's not like you have to do it all in one day. And let's see. Use the table on the next page to write down your observations, thoughts, reflections on how technology tools can be applied in teaching and learning. Post your ref in the discussion area by the next class session. Have fun, take your family with you. I'm still thinking that a place like Dave & Buster's would apply, because there are, games in there that could be educational. Save a copy and type our own. Yes, definitely make your own copy. Thank you, Maggie, for catching that. Save a copy and make your own. Otherwise, we'll have a crazy mess. Okay. So, gamification technologies. I don't know. Okay, so are there any questions about what you're going to be? This is here. Oh, here's one thing. The forum is usually due within 48 hours, but I give you more time for this. So right now it's Monday. I'm going to say, please finish your field trips and post in the forum for this particular forum discussion post by Friday night. Okay, so that's 3 days or 2 days longer than usual. So that should give you time to actually do them, but also give people the weekend to read and respond to each other. Okay, so initial discussion post for this by Friday midnight. Okay, and then respond to at least 2 of your classmates by Sunday midnight. That's just this discussion. The other discussion for this week, for week 4, is to do with that naturalist article that we'll look at, and that's just like always. I forget which one is discussion 1, discussion 2. Let's see. Discussions. Okay. Discussion 4.1. The field trip is discussion 4.1. So that is initial post by Friday, responses by Sunday. Discussion 4.2 is about the naturalist learners, and that's initial post by Wednesday, respond by Sunday, as always. So I want to show you that the naturalist discussion, but I want to make sure that everybody's clear on the field trips, what you're going to be doing, where you're going to be going. Remember that you need to go to 3 different places, and I know that Diane, one of the places that you're going to use is your own home because your kids are playing Minecraft, and I'm going to say that's okay. You know, it makes sense to me for that particular one, the gamification in education. So for all of you, if you know of somebody that gets online and plays one of those role-playing games where they're connecting with others and they're doing something, and to tell you the truth, I don't really know anything about Minecraft. I think there's building involved, buildings. And I know my sons played not World of Warcraft but Guild Wars, I think, and they would go on like quests and stuff. But delve into it and find out what they're doing and think about it in terms of the multiple intelligences, and yeah, you have to do it yourself too. And you may find out things that never occurred to you. It's just not working. I'm going to show you. Don't worry, because it's actually in our, don't worry about the link in the form, it's in our webpage. Okay? So if everybody's clear on the field trips, then I'm going to show you the 4.2. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so here is our class, our classroom in Weebly. Okay, and if you scroll down, here's discussion 4.2. Please read what Howard Gardner has to say about multiple intelligences in adults. Hopefully the natural intelligence will begin to make more sense. This is a tough one to grasp, the naturalist intelligence. So here's the Howard Gardner excerpt. If you click on that, it opens up. Now notice that it's sideways here, which means it's a lot better to look at it on an iPad, but I'm pretty sure that in here somewhere I took pictures and made it right side up. So let's see. Intelligences, I think it's here. Forms of mind. I'm trying to find the one that I made face up. Right there. There you go. Ugh, I knew I put it somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys that link right now. Okay. And I'll fix it up. I'm going to get rid of that sideways link in the web page, because here it is face up. So you're just going to go through it like a slideshow. Okay, well, pause it and play it. So you're going to read this excerpt, and then you're set the session 4.2. Okay, so there's the excerpt, but I'm going to replace it here, so it's not sideways. Consider these questions. How was the naturalistic intelligence used in the earliest periods of history, and how is it used now in business and in modern living? How is the logical mathematical intelligence related to the naturalistic intelligence? Why is the ability to classify things not simply attributed to the logical mathematical intelligence? Click on the sideways. Can you? Oh. No. It's not doing it, at least not on mine. It is bigger. It worked for you. Okay, well then I'm going to leave it there because it is nice and big, and if you look at it on an iPad, then that might be better also. But I will put the other link right under it so you can easily find them. Okay, so that's discussion 4.2. So I'm going to stop sharing. We're almost going to go on dinner. Okay, so those are our two discussions. There's posting in the field trip, so you're going to post your reflections in the discussion area. It says no later than Saturday, but it's Friday. I will fix that. Okay. And 4.2 on Wednesday. And so then when we come back, you know that you're going to be finishing up your grid. I think everybody feels pretty clear now on the grid, which is part 3 of project 1. Grid finished. Part 3 of Project 1. Project 1 is due next week, okay, on Monday. I'm thinking about that. Is it not possible to copy and paste? That would be better. I think I'd rather you copy and paste right into the forums so that you're just putting it in that one area. And then we can all see them. Okay? So when we come back, if everybody's hopefully, clear on Project 1, and I will get back to everybody that has sent me rough drafts tomorrow. I will have time tomorrow all morning to look at things and give you feedback. So make sure, if you haven't sent me a rough draft yet of Project 1, send it to me because it's due a week from today. So you'll be finishing up that grid and finishing up Project 1 completely, but also we're going to start looking at Project 2, which is your lesson plan. We're going to do that when we come back from dinner. Project 2 is your lesson plan, and that is due 2 weeks after Project 5. So, Project 1. So week 7. Week 7, it's due. So you'll turn in Project 1 next Monday, and then you've got 2 weeks to do to finish up Project 2, which is a lesson plan. Are there any questions? I know you haven't looked at the lesson plan yet, but are there any questions on the grid or on the field trips or on the naturalist discussion? Or about anything at all? Nope. Okay, it's 7:10. Let's come back at 7:40.